أنت رب عظيم الذي ليس كمثله شيء وهو السميع البصير. وهذا شهر عظمته وكرمته وشرفته وفضلته على الشهور. شهر الذي فرضت صيامه عليه وهو شهر رمضان الذي أنزلت فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان. وجعلت فيه ليلة القدر وجعلتها خيرا من 1000 شهر. فيا ذا المن ولا يمن عليك من علي بفكاك رقبني من النار في من تمن علي وأدخلني الجنة برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. جماعة الصلوات. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا زكريا إنا نبشرك بغلام اسمه يحيى ولم أك بغيا قال رب أنى يكون لي غلام وكانت امرأتي عاقرا. قال رب أنى وقيل الكبر عتي قال كذلك قال ربك هو علي هين وقد خلقتك من قبل ولم تك شيئا قال رب اجعل لي آية فخرج على قومه من المحراب فأوحى إليهم أن سبحوا بكرة وعشيا يا يحيى خذ الكتاب بقوة وآتيناه الحكم صبيا وحنانا من لدنا وزكاة وكان مقضيا وحنانا وزكاة وكان تقيا وبرا بوالديه ولم يكن جبارا عصيا وسلام عليه يوم ولد ويوم يموت ويوم يبعث حيا الله أكبر بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إنا أنزلناه في ليلة قد وما أدراك ما ليلة القدر من ألف شهر تنزل الملائكة والروح فيها بإذن ربهم من كل أمر سلام هي حتى مطلع الفجر صدق الله العلي العظيم. صل على محمد وآل محمد.
صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. Assalamu alaikum jami'an wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين خاتم النبيين جد الحسن والحسين أبي القاسم محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المكرمين الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. ولعنة الله على الأعدائهم أجمعين. أما بعد، فقد قال الله تبارك وتعالى في كتابه الكريم: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم: ولا تحسبن الذين قتلوا في سبيل الله أمواتا بل أحياء عند ربهم يرزقون. صدق الله العلي العظيم. على محمد وآله. Tonight, by the grace and blessings of Allah, we're gathered on this tragic occasion to commemorate the martyrdom of our beloved Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib عليه الصلاة والسلام. And at the same time, we hold the very best of nights, Laylatul Qadr, as Brother Mustafa Madhaji was reciting, Surah Al-Qadr, the very best of nights, the night which equals 1,000 months. As we remember Imam Ali alayhi salatu wassalam, it's equally important to remember the way he died as well as the way he lived. Because as he died in those final moments, those last 2 days or so, his worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, his faith, his gratitude, his contentment in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not cease, just as was the case when he had lived. All of his hardships, even up until that final moment, they were always spent in praise and reverence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So inshallah, tonight let us try and do the very same through our a'mal, remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, holding Him close to our hearts, and inshallah letting that resonate throughout the rest of our lives, should Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala so will it and grant us His tawfiq. Inshallah, I would like to invite our beloved brother Hajj Mustafa Elachi to deliver the main lecture and the musibah for tonight. Please welcome him with 3 loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.
رحم الله من أعاد الصلاة على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وصلى الله على محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المكرمين المظلومين. أما بعد، قال الله العظيم في محكم كتابه المجيد: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم: ومن يعظم حرمات الله فهو خير له عند ربه. صدق الله العلي العظيم. In the honor of Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib, أفلح من صلى على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. On the way here, I was talking to my wife and I was saying, of all these sad nights in our calendar, as Muwaleen of Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayhi, I can't decide between the day of Ashura and the istishhad of Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam. And it's an ethical problem perhaps when you measure the grandeur of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, and that the believers in the walaya of Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salatu was-salam, Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam is the mihwar, he's the epicenter of the heart of a believer. In fact, on that day, and of course on a night like this, there's no issue raising the affair of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, the son of Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam. in that the University of Karbala taught us so much. And that when we learn to value and understand the blessing of Al Muhammad عليهم الصلاة والسلام in our life, we start Allahumma salli. When you value them and then you hear of their troubles, the first question you might ask is, why do people like this have to suffer? This is an interesting thought to have. Why do the best of people on this earth suffer? And why do you find that the most prosperous of some people, a minority of people, they own the earth? The majority of the wealth of this earth is in the hands of the 1%. 95% of the wealth is in 1% of the population of this earth. So everything, all the khairat, all the homes, all the food, all the majalis, everything that we have is a measly 5% of what's available for Bani Adam. All of them. So all the struggle that we have, you find there is an elite group of people that keep that to themselves. And you find that these people, how long will they live? 70, 80, 90 years, 100 years if they're lucky. People born into privilege, like the Queen, for example, Queen Elizabeth II. She lived into her 90s. She was fed with a silver, gold and platinum spoon her whole life. And she died. And she took nothing with her. What is it that keeps a person attached to this power, to this money, to this influence? You find the Quran al-Kareem, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He tells us the story of good and evil is a very old story. It predates even this existence, predates the souls. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says to the malaika, Inni ja'ilun fil ardi khalifa, that I will put a vicegerent on this earth. The malaika, with a positive question, labud, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepts the questions of the people or of the beings that believe in Him. He accepts our questions, positive questions. They say, Ya Allah, أتجعل فيها من يفسد فيها ويسفك الدماء. Ya Allah, will you put something that will cause corruption on the earth and that will spill blood of other human beings? Where we praise you constantly, Ya Allah. He says to them, Inni a'lamu ma la ta'lamun. Now, there are two views on this particular conversation. You find the Quran al-Kareem has a lot of conversations. Some conversations are conversations that have happened in the past. Some conversations are the conversations of the people of the Akhirah. And some conversations are closer during the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is promoting a particular conversation so we can take the wisdom. So you find there are conversations that are past, present, and also future. So this is a conversation, a divine conversation that predates all of existence. The angels, either they had the awareness that Bani Adam have shahwa. They have a capacity of animalistic behavior. And we know that the behavior of the animals is to survival of the fittest. We know that they fight to survive. They don't have this understanding of morality. Although one might comment, we live in an age where some human beings have less humanity than the animals. Largely, the upright human being is far beyond the behavior of the animals. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala creates Adam, salamullahi alayhi. He creates Hawa, salamullahi alayha. وَعَلَّمَ آدَمَ الْأَسْمَاءَ كُلَّهَا ثُمَّ عَرَضَهُمْ عَلَى الْمَلَائِكَةِ. He teaches Adam their names and he says, present them to my angels. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is showing the azama of Adam alayhi salam to cure that curiosity perhaps of the angels. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in another ayah he says, أَنْبِئْهُمْ بِأَسْمَاءِ هَؤُلَاءِ. Now in Arabic, if he was to say one common opinion is these are the asma of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He says, أَنْبِئْهُمْ, tell them بِأَسْمَاءِ هَؤُلَاءِ, of those people. Who are these people? The asma that Adam alayhi salam, that he was taught to say to the malaika, are the names of Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad عليهم الصلاة والسلام. And from day one, Shaitan, la'natullahi alayhi, was against Ahlul Bayt. It starts with Ahlul Bayt and it ends with Ahlul Bayt. The Anbiya came to tell us of Ahlul Bayt. In fact, we have a narration. There is not a prophet except it gave two predictions, or they gave two predictions. One is of the Ba'tha of Rasulullah Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. And the second is of the Ba'tha of the Qa'im of Al Muhammad alayhi salatu wassalam. Allah. So when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He commands the angels to do a sajda of ta'zeem, so it's not a sajda of worship, but a sajda. The first person and the only person to refuse is Shaitan. And Shaitan had an issue with Al Muhammad alayhi salatu wassalam, and he had the primal sin, the sin of kibriya, arrogance. He says, Ya Allah, you made me from the essence of fire, a powerful entity, and you have made him of clay. So you find he had a comparison with Adam alayhi salam and thought himself to be better. And he refused the sajda, for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala throws him out of his rahmah. Our scholars make the comment, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala throws away Iblis after one sajda 6,000 years, we don't know if they're heavenly years or earthly years, from his arrogance. For how are we that we are arrogant all the time? But inshallah, that's another topic. So you find that insan has capacities. So we want to answer the question tonight. We're going to answer the question together. What makes the human being kill? Makes other people suffer? What makes the human being steal, cheat, lie? What makes the human being become evil? Because we're talking about the concept of good and evil. You will find that every story that's ever been narrated on this earth, every book that presents the idea of good and evil, the source of all stories are the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you look at any study, it's called intertextuality. There is this idea that all books somehow relate to its predecessor. There is no writer that is unread, that presents a book that is great except it relates to a previous book. The only person to present a book who was unlettered and was not formally taught and did not take this book from any other previous book is Rasulullah Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. On the face of this earth, you won't find a human being that presented a book that does not relate to a book prior to it, in the sense that it was sourced from that book. So you find the primal story, the narrative on this earth of good and evil comes from this stance between Iblis, la'natullahi alayh, and Allah Azza wa Jal. Human beings have the capacity for anger. They have the capacity for shahwa, for desire. They have the capacity for imagination, wahm. And they have the greatest of all capacities, the capacity of aql. Aql, or we might say divine intellect. That divine intellect, as Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi says, that the human being has two prophets, the inner prophet and the outer prophet. He says, I am the outer prophet, and it is with your aql, your inner prophet, you identify me and the anbiya and the awsiya. You cannot identify a thing unless you know it before. Does that make sense? Can you identify something without first knowing of that thing? So when a prophet comes to you, they say, Ashhadu annaka Rasulullah. They identify, they witness, because they're bearing witness to the fitrah they have, the aql. And they are looking at the prophet and they're saying, you present this divine thing that's within me. You are the embodiment of this, Ya Muhammad, Ya Rasulullah. Aflah man salla ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So you find what is holy is that thing that overcomes your desires, or at least manages them. The most holiest of human beings are the people that are able to master their anger, they're able to master their imagination, they're able to master their desire, and they put it under the saitara, under the control of the aql, that thing that allows you to identify anbiya and to follow anbiya and awsiya, the imams. So that is what makes a person holy. And you find that whenever, for example, we sin, what does this sin come from? The narrations tell us that the sinful behavior is sourced from hubb al-dunya, that we love this world. Love is that, as Amir al-Mu'mineen salamullahi alayhi, he says that love is the mutual peace between two beings, human love. Sometimes we look at money and we feel raha, we feel relaxed when we hold money in our hands. Is this not the case? That sometimes when we see a nice car, we have a nice car, we feel relaxed. We wear nice clothes, we feel relaxed. This is because the love of the world is still greater in our heart than the love of Allah Azza wa Jal. And it is not wrong to love a thing in this dunya, but you must identify that this dunya, as we said in the previous lecture, is the platform for the ibadah of Allah Azza wa Jal. So the most beloved thing in this world is that which takes you closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi says, Qurratu ayni as-salah, the apple of my eye, the essence of my heart, my deepest love is praying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, even to the extent he would say to Bilal salamullahi alayhi, his great companion Bilal, the mu'adhin of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi, he would say to him, Adhin, Adhin ya Bilal. And they say, Ya Rasulullah, it's not time for salah. He says, it makes my heart relax. So we find people, they are different. It's not the money that makes them relax. It's the adhan. It's the Quran. It's the ziyarah. It's the salah. It's the siyam. They feel the peace. They feel the sakina in their heart. For you find the way to bring this aql, this ability to identify the halal from the haram, to identify the imam, the salih from the talih, so to identify the imam from the evildoer or the prophet from the evildoer, is your ability and the level that you have of controlling these passions that we have. And I speak to myself first and foremost. So you find that our holy sites, when we go to the maqams of the imams, we go to the Kaaba, we go to the ziyarah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, these are places on earth and structures designed to build your spiritual power. So that when you leave these places, you have more chance, more fighting chance against your imagination, against your anger, against your desire. They recharge, they reboot the system. They bring forth that soul, that beautiful, divine, loving soul that Allah Azza wa Jal gave every human being. And then you find there are people that are more holier than the places. One of the hadith of Allah is hadith Qudsi. It says that the hurma of a drop of blood of a believer is worth more than my Kaaba. The Kaaba itself. That every Muslim, when they pray Allahu Akbar and they enter the salah, the qibla is the Kaaba, and Allah Azza wa Jal says the blood of a mu'min, of a believer, is worth more than this Kaaba. So you find if the blood of a believer is worth more than this Kaaba, that is the muwalin of Amir al-Mu'mineen salamullahi alayhi. For how about if you are the Imam, that people are muwalin to you, that you are the Kaaba of their hearts, you are the Kaaba of their amal. Whenever you want to do an action or a deed or speak, you are the reference. You see, the qibla is the reference of the prayerful person, and the aqidah, the belief of a person and their intention in their heart, their qibla has to be a Rasul or Imam. So you find the world we live in today, they're increasing their intensity against what is holy. The marriage between a man and a woman is holy. The idea that human beings have an innate natural self. What they are teaching is that the human being can engineer anything about them. They can become whatever they want to be. They can be gods of their own nafs, and to do whatever your desire tells you to do. And that the right of the individual is far greater than the right of the group. This is completely antithetical to Islamic teaching. This is antithetical to holy teachings. Now, I'm saying this, but I know you're thinking examples in your life where you're seeing this onslaught against religiosity. If people truly respect the actions of the individual, they'll say, lakum dinukum waliya din. But you find the irreligious, the people that don't believe in their absolute laws, that all morality is relative, you can change morality as you please, they tend to have the most animosity towards people that have beliefs, have principles. And this is something I warn you against. Why? People, that 1% that are influencing the people of this earth, they are interested in making people disbelieve in God. Why? Because whenever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is removed from a society, all the industries that profit off haram increase. There are metrics for this. There are measures for this. They have the data on believing people. It's not something we're just saying in this majlis here between us. This is a proper plan. This is what they think about. How can we rid the world of belief in God so they can buy more things, consume alcohol, take drugs, gamble? The most profitable industries on this earth, what are they? Drugs, alcohol, gambling, pornography. 75% of the internet is pornographic material. One of the greatest blessings to share information, to share knowledge. You don't have to travel miles to get knowledge anymore. You can have everything on your smartphone. And 75% is haram. 75%, that's guaranteed haram. We're not speaking about the 25% where it's mixed as well. That is also haram. And in that respect, for our blessing and our protection, Sallallahu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. In the ayah we begin with, it says, whoever glorifies the holy things of Allah, hurumatullah, the hurumat. What is holy? When they say Baytul Haram, they say the house of God is blessed, sanctified. It's Baytul Haram. It's Masjidul Haram. It's Baladul Haram. The blessed place, the blessed Kaaba, the blessed mosque, referring to the mosque of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi. So you find what is holy and what is sanctified are three. Imam Sadiq salamullahi alayhi, he says that the hurumat Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is referring to are three things. One is the Quran al-Kareem, because it has His hikmah and His nur. It's the hikmah of Allah and the nur, the light of Allah Azza wa Jal. And the second is His Kaaba, His house, because it is a qibla for the believers, that He does not accept a qibla except His Kaaba. And he says the third of the hurumat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are none other than Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So you find it is of the interest of shaitan to orchestrate a system where people leave Allah Azza wa Jal and they attack three things. They attack the books of Allah Azza wa Jal. They attack the qibla of the Muslimin. They attack the qibla by attacking the Muslimin, by always mentioning the faults of believing people, of Muslim people. And you find that the greatest, because you find that these two hurumat, they would not be known except for the third. The Kaaba would not be known. The Quran al-Kareem would not be known except for the hurma of Muhammad and al-Muhammad alayhim salatu wassalam. So you find shaitan's greatest goal is to take away from Ahlul Bayt alayhim salatu wassalam and to orchestrate anything against them. And that's why. You want to know the answer as to why our countries are suffering? Because the people of shahwa, the people of ghadab, the people of wahm, the people of passion and desire and greed for this world, where 95% of the wealth of this world is not enough. It's not enough for them. They have to create a system where even in Islam, the maqam of Ahlul Bayt, the hurumat of Allah Azza wa Jal are put down. Even among the Muslimin. So you find Amir al-Mu'mineen sallallahu alayhi, and there are so many examples. There are endless examples Where does one start to talk about the greatness of Imam Ali alayhi salam and the maqam of Imam Ali among all human beings, not just in the Muslim or the Islamic world? But I'll give you one simple example. We all know the hadith that, Ya Ali, you are to me as Harun was to Musa, salamullahi alayhim ajma'in. You are to me as Harun is to Musa. Then you say, okay, your relationship to Musa, Ya Harun, is a relationship of Rasulullah and Ali and Amir al-Mu'mineen salamullahi alayhi. What does Musa salamullahi alayhi say in the Quran al-Kareem, his famous dua? He says, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli waj'al li waziran min ahli Haruna akhi ashud bihi azri wa ashrikhu fi amri. We're saying that Harun and Musa is like Rasulullah and Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salatu wassalam. He says, Allah, expand my chest and make my affair easy and make my tongue easy to speak with so they understand what I say, and make from me an inheritor from my family, my brother Harun. Strengthen with him my back and let him be a partner in your amr. What's the amr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? The amr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the risala. For Amir al-Mu'mineen salamullahi alayhi is Sharik al-Quran, Sharik al-Risala, Sharik Amrillah, the Sharik of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. This is the greatness of Amir al-Mu'mineen. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not send the kitab onto the heart of any human being unless it's a pure heart. The heart of Rasulullah is pure and it is purifying in its nature. For the person to inherit, to be the wazir of Rasulullah, must share purity to know the risala of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. For you find, when you have this level of purity, when you have this level of heart, that is commensurate with the level of hate that you have. Because the people that did not like Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi, having fairness among the Arab and the non-Arab, you go back 1500 years ago, this majlis would not happen. You would not see the brothers of Pakistan, Afghanistan, Iraq, Lebanon, and anyone I've missed, sitting in a majlis under one banner. You would not see it. They hated this. They wanted the non-Arab oppressed in the Middle East, in the Arab world. They did not want the rights of the black or the red or the yellow or the white. They did not want the economy having an equality among people. So when Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi is martyred, they work hard, and you find that you have the first, the second and the third 25 to 30 years of dhulm, returning the system back to the Umayyad way of thinking. And then Amir al-Mu'mineen salamullahi alayhi, he rules for 5 years. And in these 5 years, Siffin and Nahrawan and Jamal, key battles fighting, and not against, like in the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi, against the mushrikeen, defensive battles against the ummah, people in the ummah. This was the bala of Amir al-Mu'mineen salamullahi alayhi. So you find on this night, we remember the istishhad, the martyrdom of Amir al-Mu'mineen, the one who was born in the Kaaba and died in the mihrab, the one who was born in a holy place and was martyred in a holy place. On a night like this, one is preparing themselves for the worship of Allah Azza wa Jal, requesting His rizq, asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to extend their life in worship. On this night, one is thinking about showing mercy to the poor and the orphan. On this night, what are you thinking, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen? On this night, you are reflecting on the end of your life, Ya Sayyidi wa Mawlai. On this night, you are are thinking of the poor who would knock on the door of Risala. On this night you are thinking of the orphans who took you as a father. On this night you are thinking of your children who soon will become orphans. Who will pat the heads of the Aitam of Al Muhammad as Amir al-Mu'mineen would pat the heads of the orphans of the Ummah? What a worthless dunya we live in, where one goes to Rasulullah and leaves behind the children of Rasulullah. Kulthum said that my father Amir al-Mu'mineen entered on the 19th of Shahr Ramadan. He entered for iftar. He praised Allah Azza wa Jal and prayed. His iftar was something of milk and bread and salt. Kulthum narrates, he said to me, my daughter, do you want me to extend my stand before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? You see, it's incumbent on the Imam of the believers that he eats the lowest meal from among the believers. He said to me, remove one of the dishes so I may break my fast. Kulthum said tonight, my father was acting strange. He kept going out of the house to gaze at the sky. Amir al-Mu'mineen looks at the sky. He says, Wallah, this is the night that was promised to me by my brother Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi. He then returned to his mihrab, praying in ruku', in sujood, until Kulthum salamullahi alayha says, until part of the night departed us. He said to me, my daughter Kulthum, I have seen Habibi Rasulullah opening his hands and he's saying to me, come to us, Ya Ali, we miss you, Ya Ali. Here is Hamza and here is Ja'far, and more await you, Ya Ali. Here wallahi shahada. When Fajr came, the Imam did his blessed wudu and he left his home for Masjid al-Kufa. When he was at the entry of his home, a group of geese stood in the way of the Imam. They were squawking at the Imam, blocking his way from leaving his house, as though they are preventing the Imam from his demise. He salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayhi, he said, when he looked at these geese, he said, Nawa'ihun sawa'ihun tatba'uha nawa'ih. Moaning and screaming followed by more moaning. Amir al-Mu'mineen salamullahi alayhi, he goes to the door and you find that a nail caught his belt and the Imam fell to the floor. The Imam looks and he says to himself, Ujdud hayazimaka lil mawti fa inna al mawta laqika. Strengthen your belt, Ya Ali, for death is approaching. وَلَا تَجْزَى مِنَ الْمَوْتِ إِذَا حَلَّ بِنَادِيكَ. And don't fear death when it calls you. كَمَا أَضْحَكَكَ الدَّهْرُ كَذَاكَ الدَّهْرُ يُبْكِيكَ. And the way time made you laugh, it will make you cry, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen. Our Imam walked to the masjid, he stood in the mi'adhana and he gave his adhan. It was said that when he gave his adhan, there wasn't a house of the mu'mineen except they heard the sweet voice of Amir al-Mu'mineen. He finished adhan and went to his salah. Ajarakum Allah, ya mu'mineen. The Mal'oon ibn Muljam, la'anatullahi alayhi, was awaiting the Imam in his hiding, near the place where the Imam was known to pray. Our azat tonight is for Rasulullah. Our azat tonight, on a night like this, is for Fatima al-Zahra. Our azat is for the Imams on a night like this. Ajarakum Allah. The la'een ran at the Imam as he lifted his head from the second sajda. He lifted this sword above the Imam's head and he struck the Imam's head, and the Imam is knocked down, and the Imam says, Fustu wa Rabbil Kaaba. I am successful by the Lord of the Kaaba. The Imam sat, his head and his beard soaked in his pure blood. Hearing a voice from the heavens, the Imam, he hears from the Malaika, Tahaddamat Wallah, Tahaddamat Wallah. تهدمت والله أركان الهدى. والله the pillars of guidance are broken. انفصمت والله العروة الوثقى. Wallah, the stronghold of Allah has been cut. What happened? قتل علي المرتضى. قتل علي المرتضى. قتل علي المرتضى وإمامه وعليا. بل لعنة الله على القوم الظالمين. وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون والعاقبة للمتقين. We ask Allah Azza wa Jal by your blessed tears to hasten the reappearance of our Imam. We ask Allah Azza wa Jal to bless this gathering and to bless the lovers of Muhammad and Al-Muhammad and to prevent our hearts from going astray. We ask Allah bihaqqi Amir al-Mu'mineen, bless us with the remembrance of Amir al-Mu'mineen and accept our ibadah on this night, inshaAllah. And we ask the brothers, inshaAllah, to bring in our tabut in representation of the janazah of Amir al-Mu'mineen. Aflaha man salla ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Ali is a pride badge and carried by us. Ali is not just a theme nor an abstract. Ali's beyond the grave we visit in mass. Ali offers love and care with no contract. Now we have lost patience, worship and strength. In Kufa, Ali lived during end of his time. He was the king and he was the true Imam, successor to Muhammad, Prophet of Islam. Yes, this is Ali we are talking about. Ali had no crown. Ali had no crown or propaganda. Ali, a leader of sincerity, love and thought. Ali does not wave from a veranda. That night he chose to walk by himself. Ali was weary. His eyes, they were tired. Ali was surrounded by many, but yet alone. He was recalling all changes he has inspired. Ali, Ali walked out in determined steps, yet warm. Birds surrounded him, flapping their wings in form. Yet in its glory, it was beyond any sight. a place special for Imam to lead and pray. Where was he leading? In prayer, Ali. In mysterious Kufa, he started his day. In the city there was a grand mosque made out of clay. Yet in its glory it was beyond any say, a place special for Imam to lead and pray. In prayer, Ali was stricken by a sword. In prayer, Ali was stricken by a sword. In prayer, Ali was stricken by a sword. Ali responded with a divine true cry, a poison blade that had silenced the best word. I am the winner, as in Allah I will reign. صلى على محمد وآل محمد. علي علي
علي علي علي مولاي
علي 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 مولاي علي 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 مولاي علي 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 مولاي علي 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 مولاي علي 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 مولاي علي 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 مولاي. سيد الطلحات بسيستو علي بن ابي طالب. يا علي 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 مولاي علي علي مولاي علي علي مولاي علي 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 مولاي. وزينب والحسن والحسين علي 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 مولاي علي 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 مولاي علي 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 مولاي علي 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 مولاي. تضارف رسول الله, oh husband of Fatima to Zahra,
oh father of Al-Hasanain, oh hero of Badr and Hunain, Ali 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 مولاي علي 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 مولاي علي علي مولاي علي 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 مولاي. You fought against the enemies like none of them could have foreseen.
You broke the core of disbelief.
You brought the believers relief.
Ali, 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 Ali Mawla, علي 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 مولاه علي علي
مولاه
The messenger had fallen ill. The messenger had fallen ill. They would not let him write his will.
They sieged the house of his daughter, saying, surrender or be slaughtered.
Fatima was crushed through the door. Fatima was crushed through the door. Her noble blood spilled on the floor.
Young Muhsin killed in her womb. Together they entered the tomb. Ali, Ali, Ali Mawla. Ali, Ali.
علي 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 مولاه علي 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 مولاه. Let him hear inshallah. تنجف يا
علي علي
ما شاء الله.
علي مولاه
علي علي
علي مولاه
علي 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 مولاه. Misfortune and sorrow struck you. Misfortune and sorrow struck you. Silence followed all the way through.
The Ummah did not dare protest. They failed the most crucial of tasks.
They saw with their very own eyes your right hand raised towards the sky.
Yet they ignored your noble right. They remained silent through your plight. Ali, Ali, Ali Mawla. Ali, Ali, Ali Mawla.
علي 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 مولاه علي
علي علي
مولاه
علي 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 مولاه علي 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 مولاه علي 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 مولاه
علي 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 مولاه. The oppressors stole this nation from the best of God's creation.
The Muslim Ummah would have thrived with our great Mawla at its high.
His justice reach every corner. His justice reached every corner. His mercy touched all the orphans.
One besides Muhammad could govern the way that Haydar would. Ali, Ali, Ali Mawla.
Ali, Ali, Ali Mawla. Ali, Ali,
Ali Mawla.
Ali, Ali, Ali Mawla. Even when the sword struck his head, even when the sword struck his head, his faith in Allah stood the test,
Worshipping until his last breath, praising Allah in his deathbed.
Ali, we wait for our final Imam. Lift your hand, together. Ya Ali, Ya Ali. We wait for our final Imam. Your son Mahdi, the greatest man.
Grant him your courage, Ya Mawla. Let him lead us towards Allah. Ali, Ali, Ali Mawla. Ali, Ali, Ali Mawla. Ali, Ali, Ali Mawla.
I think the Imam of your time feels right now. Ya Ali, Ya Ali.
Ali, Ali, Ali Mawla. Ali, Ali, Ali Mawla.
Ali, Ali, Ali Mawla. Let the world hear you. Ya Ali, Ya Ali. Ali,
Ali Mawla.
Ali,
Ali, Ali Mawla. Ali, Ali, Ali Mawla.
لعلي أنتمي حبه في دمي سيفه ملهمي هو الإمام واعلموا أن لي نبض في داخلي سميته علي فخر الكرام لبيك يا علي لبيك يا علي لبيك يا علي يا مرتضى لبيك يا علي لبيك يا علي لبيك يا علي يا لبيك إن شاء الله تنجف لبيك يا الله لبيك يا علي لبيك يا علي يا مرتضى لبيك يا علي لبيك يا علي لبيك يا علي يا مرتضى لعلي أنتمي حبه في دمي سيفه ملهمي هو الإمام واعلموا أن لي نبض في داخلي سميته علي فخر الكرام منه نستلهم روح الإيمان لا نخاف الرياء إن بركان يا تكفيري صبرك إنا سوف نحفر قبرك يا تكفيري صبرك إنا سوف نحفر قبرك لبيك يا علي لبيك لبيك يا علي يا مرتضى لبيك يا علي
لبيك يا علي لبيك يا علي يا مرتضى.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
اللهم صل على
صلوا على محمد وآل محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
مسجد کوفہ ہے روزہ دار ہے،
مسجد
کوفہ ہے روزہ دار ہے، مسجد کوفہ ہے روزہ دار ہے، مسجد کوفہ ہے روزہ دار ہے، مسجد کوفہ ہے روزہ دار ہے، مسجد کوفہ ہے روزہ دار ہے، فرق سے اونچی لہو کی دھار ہے، مسجد کوفہ ہے روزہ دار ہے، مسجد کوفہ ہے روزہ دار ہے، آہدہ ماد پیمبر کے لیے، آہدہ ماد پیمبر کے لیے، آہدہ ماد پیمبر کے لیے، زہر میں ڈوبی ہوئی تلوار ہے، مسجد کوفہ ہے روزہ دار ہے، مسجد کوفہ ہے روزہ دار ہے، مسجد کوفہ ہے روزہ دار ہے، کہہ رہا ہے زخمی سر سے بہہ کے خون، کہہ رہا ہے
زخمی سر
سے بہہ کے خون، کہہ رہا ہے زخمی سر سے بہہ کے خون، دوسرا سجدہ بہت دشوار ہے، مسجد کوفہ ہے روزہ دار ہے، مسجد کوفہ ہے روزہ دار ہے، رات تک آباد تھا حق کا مکان، رات تک آباد تھا حق کا مکان، رات تک آباد تھا حق کا مقام، صبح کو جڑی ہوئی سرکار ہے، مسجد کوفہ ہے روزہ دار ہے، مسجد کوفہ ہے روزہ دار ہے، فرق پاک مرتضی میں تیغ ہے، فرق پاک مرتضی میں تیغ ہے، فرق پاک مرتضی میں تیغ ہے، یا کلام اللہ میں تلوار ہے، مسجد کوفہ ہے روزہ دار 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 ہے، زخم سر ہے حیدر کرار ہے، زخم سر ہے حیدر کرار ہے، دھیمی دھیمی نبض کی رفتار ہے، مسجد کوفہ ہے روزہ دار ہے، مسجد کوفہ ہے روزہ دار ہے، خون میں ہے غرق داماد نبی، خون میں ہے غرق داماد نبی، خون میں ہے غرق داماد نبی، سانس لینا بھی بہت دشوار ہے، مسجد
کوفہ ہے روزہ دار ہے، مسجد کوفہ ہے روزہ دار ہے، مسجد کوفہ ہے روزہ دار ہے، مسجد کوفہ ہے روزہ دار ہے۔ ہائے علی یا علی، 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 ہائے علی یا علی۔ مومنو حیدر کرار کا ماتم کر لو، مومنو حیدر کرار کا ماتم کر لو، مومنو حیدر کرار کا ماتم کر لو، ہاں محمد کے علم دار کا ماتم کر لو، مومنو حیدر کرار کا ماتم کر لو، مومنو حیدر کرار کا ماتم کر لو، سب مل کے پڑھیں، مومنو حیدر کرار کا ماتم کر لو، خاک اڑاؤ کہ علی شیر خدا مارے گئے، خاک اڑاؤ کہ علی شیر خدا مارے گئے، بازوئے احمد مختار کا ماتم کر لو، مومنو حیدر کرار کا ماتم کر لو، مومنو حیدر کرار کا ماتم کر لو، جس کے در سے نہ گیا خالص والی کوئی، جس کے در سے نہ گیا خالص والی کوئی، اس سخی صاحب کردار کا ماتم کر لو، مومنو حیدر کرار کا ماتم کر لو، مومنو حیدر کرار کا ماتم کر لو، جو کہ پانچوں میں بھی ہیں 12 اماموں میں بھی ہیں، جو کہ پانچوں میں بھی ہیں 12 اماموں میں بھی ہیں، سارے نبیوں کے مدد گار کا ماتم کر لو، مومنو حیدر کرار کا ماتم کر لو، مومنو حیدر کرار کا ماتم کر لو، ہر ولی کہتا ہے یہ کر کے علی کا ماتم، ہر ولی کہتا ہے یہ کر کے علی کا ماتم، میرے آقا میرے سرکار کا ماتم کر لو، مومنو حیدر کرار کا ماتم کر لو، ماشاءاللہ مل کے پڑھیے، کرار کا ماتم کر لو، مومنو حیدر کرار کا ماتم کر لو، مل کے جبریل کے استاد کا پرسہ دے دو، مل کے جبریل کے استاد کا پرسہ دے دو، صاحب دلدل
تلوار کا ماتم کر لو مومنو حیدر کرار کا ماتم کر لو مومنو حیدر کرار کا ماتم کر لو اپنے قاتل کو دیا جس نے کہ جام شیریں اپنے قاتل کو دیا جس نے کہ جام شیریں کوثری جام کے مختار کا ماتم کر لو مومنو حیدر کرار کا ماتم کر لو مومنو حیدر کرار کا ماتم کر لو کوفہ و کرب و بلا شام سے آتی ہے صدا کوفہ و کرب و بلا شام سے آتی ہے صدا اجڑے سادات کے گلزار کا ماتم کر لو مومنو حیدر کرار 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 کا ماتم کر لو ہائے علی یا علی ہائے علی یا علی ہائے علی یا علی
اے علی یا علی
ہائے علی یا علی ہائے علی یا علی ہائے علی یا علی
اے علی یا علی
ہائے علی یا علی ہائے علی یا علی ہائے علی یا علی
اے علی یا علی
اللہم صلی علی محمد وآل محمد متوجہ زیارہ السلام علیکہ یا رسول اللہ السلام علیکہ یا نبی اللہ